First tonight, the National Security Minister is pushing back against strong claims made by the U.S. ambassador nominee regarding rising drug smuggling in the Bahamas. Plus, an active duty U.S. service member has died following a jet ski incident in Nassau. Tonight, the U.S. Embassy is calling for justice and tighter safety regulations. And then,
the JCMP is heading back to claims they've threatened Junkanoo groups ahead of this year's parade. I'm Berthany McDermott. We'll have those details for you in our news.
And then in our news at 7:30. 1 year after a deadly accident that claimed the lives of 2 people, the AAIA has concluded its report on what led to the incident. We've got the details for these stories and more as Our News Live at 7 starts now. Welcome to Our News Live at 7. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Shepard. National Security Minister Wayne Munro is pushing back against claims of rising drug smuggling in the Bahamas. Speaking to reporters Thursday on the sidelines of the Parliamentary Registration Department's training session at Breezes Resort, Munro alleged that U.S. Ambassador nominee Herschel Walker made strong points during his Senate confirmation hearing, particularly on China's growing influence in the region. During that hearing, Walker argued the Bahamas is in great need of a U.S. ambassador, raising concerns about China's investments and recent drug smuggling cases. But Munro insisted those concerns don't reflect the reality on the ground, adding that interdictions have actually increased in recent years.
Since 2021, drug interdictions have gone up. As a matter of fact, the cause for the increase in cocaine smuggling is that Colombia stopped destroying the coca fields. That happened as a fact. So when they used to destroy the coca fields, that affected supply. When you stop destroying the coca fields, that means supply is back up, and the public would see that there have been many interdictions by the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, the police force, the U.S. Coast Guard, across the border, all the way from down south in the Caribbean, in the Pacific, and here in the Bahamas trying to get through.
The minister added the Bahamas is investing heavily in border security, with the Defense Force acquiring 4 new fast interceptor boats and approval for a flagship vessel and a smaller auxiliary craft to patrol the archipelago.
There is an issue that arises about people trying to be smuggled to the U.S. from the northern Bahamas. And we've seen a number of overcrowded vessels capsize and an unfortunate loss of life. The Defense Force had asked for, and we acquired for them, 4 go-fast interceptor patrol boats that now are in the fight. The other administration permitted the fleet to run down, didn't add to the fleet. We're seeking to dry dock the fleet, get it all back to sea. We've acquired these 4 41-feet fast interceptor boats. We are moving to acquire another flagship class vessel, and we also have to go ahead to acquire a smaller auxiliary vessel.
A 38-year-old man accused of raping his former girlfriend is set to stand trial next June. Rodney Felix, whose address was given as Cowpen Road, is charged with raping the woman on January 21st, 2025. Felix denies the charge and is currently on remand. Despite being in the Bahamas for almost 6 years, Felix speaks no English and required a Haitian Creole interpreter. Justice Dale Fitzpatrick has set backup trial date for June 15, 2026. If the trial doesn't proceed on that date, Felix will be tried on May 16, 2027. The judge said a lawyer would be appointed to represent Felix. A top U.S. official stationed in the Bahamas is calling on the Bahamian government to investigate and seek justice for the family of an American man killed in a tragic jet ski accident. On Thursday, U.S. Charge d'Affaires Kimberly Furnish, along with officers from the U.S. Armed Forces, oversaw the solemn repatriation of the remains of active duty Alaska Air National Guard 2nd Lieutenant Robert Rosa. The deadly jet ski accident happened on August 31st. Police reported that shortly after 11:30 a.m. that day, his jet ski collided with a boat in waters off Paradise Island. Rosa died at the scene. In a statement issued today, Charge Furnace said Rosa was not at fault in this incident. She added that the embassy is working with the Bahamian government to address the persistence of deaths injuries, and sexual assaults associated with the minimally regulated small watercraft industry. Parliamentary registration officials are being trained on the front lines of election security, and this time the focus is on new technology. During the Parliamentary Registration Department's training session at Breezes Resort, National Security Minister Wayne Monroe announced that staff will soon be equipped to handle the country's first ever polycarbonate biometric photos cards, a tool designed to strengthen the integrity of the electoral process.
You will be instructed on the process for verification, which is new, which hopefully should commence shortly. And you will be exposed to practices that this new card, these new approaches will bring and cause to have to happen.
Monroe says the cards will cut down on fraud and make the system more transparent. He reminded officials that their role is just as crucial to national security as police or defense force officers.
On that fateful day, your task is to make sure that everyone votes only once. You know, they have this joke, vote early, vote often, vote right. That could only be a joke. Your job is to ensure that everyone with a right to vote only gets to vote once. And you are also responsible for conducting yourself in a manner that does not discourage anyone from voting.
Well, it seems the drama in the Junkanoo community isn't slowing down anytime soon. It comes just 3 months away from the much-anticipated Junkanoo season. More recently, Junkanoo groups claim the JCNP threatened groups against accepting seed money from the government. Tonight, the JCNP is hitting back in an effort to clear the air. Chairman Dion Miller says funding for groups has nothing to do with the corporation. Berthany McDermott has the details.
The JCNP is not holding a gun, a knife, or any weapon to any Junkanoo group for their allegiance to the JCNP.
Amid claims Junkanoo groups were threatened by the Junkanoo Corporation of New Providence ahead of the 2026 Junkanoo season, Chairman Dion Miller is pushing back, saying no group is forced to be a member of the JCNP. Youth, Sports and Culture Minister Mario Boleg telling the Tribune newspaper he had been informed that the JCNP threatened groups with the loss of sponsorship and possible expulsion if they registered directly with the Ministry for Government Seed Funding. He said he got several calls from groups which he said were disturbing, but Miller said the JCNP has nothing to do with seed funding.
The JCNP does not get involved in that, so that's between the group and the government. If any organization wants to go and get seed funding from the government, or get a sponsorship from Our News, or get a sponsorship from Nike, that is their business as individual groups.
In talks with the minister, Miller says he did not reveal who the groups were making the claim. But what's at the crux of the recent issue? Miller says the JCNP recently sent a memo to all groups requiring them to declare or co-sign with the JCNP for this year's parade.
So we've asked groups to declare if they're in a position to do step down, they're in a position to do lead costume, to let us know the number in the lateness, how many persons they have. So it's a straightforward declaration. It was not a threat. They cannot state or show where they were threatened verbally or in writing. So it's unfortunate that groups or persons would hide behind anonymous sources to make those claims.
And like many other Junkanoos have expressed in the past, Miller telling us the issues in Junkanoo stems from one conflict.
If we all be honest with ourselves, drama as it pertains to Junkanoo did not come into place until the Valley Boys situation took place, and that is unfortunate.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, well, thanks so much for that, Berthany. It's time now for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center. Greg, happy Friday.
Yeah, thanks, Megan, and a happy TGIF, everybody. Gray days around the northwest Bahamas with lots of clouds and lots of moisture in place. We had some off and on showers here in the capital as well. A couple of rumbles of thunderstorm. Temperatures still on the warm side or humid side, 87 degrees under cloudy skies with some light rain. Your winds are out of the northeast at 5 miles per hour. Feels like temperature is at 94. Current temperatures around the islands right now, it's 85 in Freeport, Grand Bahama, 82 in Alistown, Bimini, and in Marsh Harbor, Abaco. Nickel San Andres, 83, 84 in Great Harbor Key, over in Governor's Harbor, 85. Central Bahamas, 82, Kemps Bay, 85. Black Point, Exuma, Deadman's Key, Port Nelson, and we pick up 84s in Arthurstown, Cat Island, Cuban Town, San Salvador. Georgetown, the Exumas, 86. Southeast Bahamas, 86, Duncantown, Ragged Island, 84. Colonel Hill, Crooked Island, Delectable Bay, 85. 84 in Abrahams Bay, 86, Matthewtown, Inagua, and our good neighbors to the southeast, Turks and Caicos Islands. You have a temperature right now of 82 degrees. Satellite radar composite. This is a setup. Frontal boundary across the northwest Bahamas, ever so slowly starting to sag towards the south, but a lot of the moisture associated with it will hang out across the northwest Bahamas, so that will result in some showers and thunderstorms over the next couple of days. So you may want to take your umbrella or keep your rain gear handy, because you could see some showers for the weekend. The rest of the Bahamas, just seeing some isolated showers. Weak high pressure still in charge of that area. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. Look at your extended forecast. It's still to come.
Coming up in sports, if you thought we were any closer to a resolution with everything going on with the BLTA, you are new to Bahamian sports. In comes government intervention and possibly international intervention. There's a lot going on.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
More than 20 years in the making and still growing. Everywhere you turn, our news is there. From Charybdis to Caricom and Chogam, the commendation of a queen, the coronation of a king, the controversies, our culture, in times of conscience and collective grief, connecting the stories of a country coming into its own, from then to now and still to come. Our news is everywhere, always there when it counts.
NFL season is back, and Cable Bahamas is bringing the action straight to you.
Okay, so let I take it from here. This season, Cable Bahamas is the Bahamas' #1 NFL provider. More games than ever before. With any live fiber infinite bundle, Trio or Trio Plus, you unlock Thursday Night Football, Sunday Ticket in 4K, and every highlight that matters. Just opt in the Sports X for $5 a month.
And don't miss a touchdown. Sign up now.
Watch Thursday Night Football exclusively with Rev and the Live Fiber on channel 747 and 748.
Every week, one show drives the national conversation. On the Record. We challenge the issues, ask the tough questions, and dig deeper. We bring in the experts, the decision makers.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. Who moves forward to lead the country's governing body in tennis? This story has more sequels than the Fast and Furious franchise, and it'll add another chapter pretty soon, whether that's this weekend or in the near future. High drama surrounds the upcoming annual general meeting and elections of the Bahamas Lawn Tennis Association, with both the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture and the Bahamas Olympic Committee calling for a delay in the process. In a letter to BLTA President Perry Newton, the ministry referenced a July 22nd Court of Appeal ruling which invalidated the 2021 AGM and directed that membership applications be processed in keeping with the BLTA's constitution. The ministry emphasized that the membership process must remain transparent and inclusive, and advised that the BLTA postpone their elections until all outstanding issues are resolved to ensure fairness and good governance.
That's it, the regular season is done, and now it's time to get to the title chase.
The Liberty ended the year with a 91-86 win over the Chicago Sky. JJ finished with 7 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, and 1 block. That block gave her 134 for her career, 6th all-time in Liberty history and 15th all-time in WNBA history. New York finished the season at 27 wins and 17 losses.
Boxing was one of the first sports that put the Bahamas on the map internationally, but in recent years, a lot of young talent has slipped through the cracks. The Bahamas Boxing Academy project looks to change that. Stakeholders hosted the media yesterday to a comprehensive update on the development of the project, which is intended to become a national center for boxing. The latest addition to the Queen Elizabeth Sports Center, the project looks to revitalize a once thriving local boxing program. And your 10YS Plays of the Week. That'll do it for our sports. Stay tuned to Our News at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world. As a 22-year-old Utah man suspected of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk is in custody. Plus, Britain's ambassador to the U.S. fired after the depth of his ties with the late convicted U.S. sex offender Jeffrey Epstein revealed. And then, high-level security officials from the Turks and Caicos engaging in strategic meetings with Bahamian counterparts this week. We'll tell you why on the other side of this break.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the Our News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team. Well, from the teams you already trust.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
My name is Trevor Williams. I've been a live fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remote.
This is Our News. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. A Utah man suspected of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk is in custody tonight. Utah Governor Spencer Cox confirming today. The suspect, identified as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, eluded police and federal agents for about 33 hours after Wednesday's shooting. Governor Cox said investigators reviewed video footage and identified Robinson arriving in a Dodge Challenger vehicle at approximately 8:29 on September 10th.
We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had.
Peter Mandelson, Britain's ambassador to the U.S., was fired by Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Thursday after a trove of emails revealed the depth of his ties with the late convicted U.S. sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Lauren Anthony reports.
Britain's ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson, was fired on Thursday for his long-term association with the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. He was forced from the UK's most sought-after diplomatic post after his letters and emails to Epstein were published this week. One purported message described Epstein as, quote, "my best pal." Further emails were published in the media showing that Mandelson advised Epstein to fight for early release when he faced charges over soliciting a minor. Mandelson is a veteran politician considered key to Labour's success under former leader Tony Blair. His relationship with Epstein had become a further distraction in recent days for current British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, already under political pressure at home. The UK Foreign Ministry said in a statement that the information found in Mandelson's emails shows, quote, that the depth and extent of Peter Mandelson's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein is materially different from that known at the time of his appointment. It added that the revelation of Mandelson's suggestion that Epstein's first conviction was wrongful and should be challenged was new information. The release of the documents and others involving Epstein, who died by suicide in prison in 2019, has brought renewed attention to an issue that has implicated others, including US President Donald Trump and Britain's Prince Andrew. On Wednesday, Mandelson said he deeply regretted ever meeting Epstein and that he had carried on that association for far longer than he should have done. The statement seemed at the time to satisfy Starmer, who went on to give the former ambassador his backing in Parliament.
I have confidence in him and he's playing an important role in the UK-US relationship.
Barbados' commercial and cultural attaché to Ghana, C. Phil Phillips, says Africa may feel distant to the Caribbean, but it holds immense opportunities for trade, tourism, and cultural exchange that the region should not ignore. Speaking with the Caribbean Media Corporation during the 4th Inter-African Trade Fair, Phillips described Africa as the go-to place as traditional markets face challenges. Barbados is among the first CARICOM states to establish a high commission in Ghana, alongside Suriname and Jamaica. At this year's fair, Barbados, the Bahamas, and Grenada represented the Caribbean. High-level security officials from the Turks and Caicos engaging in strategic meetings with Bahamian counterparts this week. It's a critical effort to stem what officials describe as an unprecedented level of gang violence and firearm-related plaguing the Turks and Caicos Islands. The discussions held in Nassau on Monday aim to enhance collaboration and build capacity in the face of escalating criminal threats. The TCI delegation met with Minister of National Security Wayne Monroe, Commissioner of Police Shanta Knowles, Defense Force Commodore Floyd Moxey, and other executive security leads. This comes as the Turks and Caicos Islands face a significant challenge with gang-related crime, prompting government to strengthen its ties with neighboring nations to curb the rising violence. Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was September 12th. Plus, a local mega resort giving the Royal Bahamas Defense Force a new maritime security boost. We've got the details when our news continues.
More than 20 years in the making and still growing. Everywhere you turn, our news is there. From Caribta to CARICOM and Chogam, the commendation of a queen, the coronation of a king, the controversies, our culture, in times of conscience and collective grief. Connecting the stories of a country coming into its own, from then to now and still to come. Our news is everywhere, always there when it counts.
NFL season is back, and Cable Bahamas is bringing the action straight to you.
Okay, so let I take it from here. This season, Cable Bahamas is the Bahamas' #1 NFL provider. More games than ever before. With any live fiber infinite bundle, Trio, or Trio Plus, you unlock Thursday Night Football, Sunday Ticket in 4K, and every highlight that matters. Just opt in the Sports X for $5 a month.
And don't miss a touchdown. Sign up now.
Watch Thursday Night Football exclusively with Rev and a live fiber on channel 747 and 748.
Every week, one show drives the national conversation. On the Record, we challenge the issues, ask the tough questions, and dig deeper. We bring in the experts, the decision makers, and the voices that matter.
On this day in Bahamian history, in 1729, the first elections were held for seats in the House of Assembly. The Historical Society notes elections took place at the home of Samuel Lawford. Then in 1971, Chandra Stirrup was born in Nassau. Stirrup is a retired Bahamian athlete. At the 2000 Summer Olympics, her team won a gold medal in the women's 400 meter. Their feat earned them the nickname the Golden Girls. Then in 1980, Florida Commuter Airlines Flight 65 from Palm Beach International Airport crashed near West End, Grand Bahama. All 30 passengers and 4 crew members perished. Only 15 bodies were recovered. In 1983, then Prime Minister Lyndon Pindling appeared on NBC Today to answer allegations made in a report by NBC reporter Brian Ross that Bahamian government officials were involved in drug trafficking on Norman's Key. And finally, on this day in 1995, Stephen Gardner was born in Murphytown, Abaco. Gardner is a multi-medal winning track and field athlete specializing in the 200 meters and 400 meters. And for the full details on these stories, be sure to check out Today in History on ournews.bs. And some good news to end the week. A church and school that was robbed last weekend has received most of their items back. On Monday, we reported how classrooms at the Caring Hands preschool were broken into, where cash, equipment, electronics, even snacks and drinks were stolen. Next door at Christ Commission Church's sanctuary was also ransacked, with thousands of equipment stolen. But tonight, most of it has been returned. Preschool owner Stacy Beckel says it was the good news they needed to hear.
I was extremely happy because I thought that we weren't going to hear anything, at least not so soon. I didn't think that we were going to get our items back, but we are so grateful to the police for such a marvelous job that they did in such a short order. She got a laptop. The only thing that is still outstanding is a few of our speakers, but we believe that the police will find those items as well.
Now, while the church's pastor, Alvin Smith, was unable to be interviewed, he too expressed his gratitude. Beckel says it was the rallying of the Grand Bahama community that led them to getting their items back.
Because of you, after listening to our story, the police said that they got a tip from the community to let them know that they believe they found the person that stole the items from the property, from the church, and from the school. I also want to give thanks to the media, to our TV especially.
Now, to watch that story again and for all of today's top stories, be sure to visit ournews.bs. That does it for our news live at 7. Joining us now is our Italia Hall with the latest headlines. Italia, awesome news.
Awesome
at the end of
in
the
our
week.
hometown.
Absolutely.
For sure. I'm so
Absolutely.
happy to see that they got most of their items back, and hopefully they get the rest.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks so much, Megan and TGIF. Well, coming up, a Bahamian delegation prepares to travel to China, and the JCNP and government will soon settle on an agreement for the upcoming parade. Here are your latest headlines. First tonight on our news at 7:30, 1 year after a fatal accident claimed 2 lives, investigators say fuel exhaustion was to blame. Our Berthing McDermott has the details coming up. Also, a 47-year-old man convicted of having a sexual relationship with his daughter for 7 years is appealing his sentence, plus a leaking ceiling inside the Supreme Court. A veteran attorney caught on video collecting water in a cup during proceedings. We have the full story coming up. And later, a Florida sheriff claims the Bahamas has relaxed immigration enforcement. The National Security Minister responds when our news at 7:30 returns.
Every season creates an opportunity for you to enjoy the comfort and security of your most valuable assets. Unfortunately, termites are common and very unwanted guests that never stop eating. With Strucum, you can enjoy the peace of mind as we protect your investment with our 3-year fumigation warranty. Strucum, #1 in pest control services.
Whether you're battling a chronic condition or offsetting a new injury, Doctors Hospital's comprehensive rehab services offer the help you need now.
Go to doctors.
3 advanced facilities at Collins Avenue, Carmichael Road, and Cable Beach means your personalized plan for care is just a visit away. From physiotherapy to occupational therapy and speech and language pathology, our team approach is all about rebuilding together. For a full list of services, visit doctorshosp.com/rehabilitation. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now. Isn't your health worth it?
Welcome to Our News and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall. 1 year on the anniversary of a deadly accident, the Air Accident Investigation Authority has concluded its report on what led to the incident that killed 2 people. The cause, fuel exhaustion. Our Bertha McDermott has the details.
Investigators have found that the cause of the September 2024 incident of that Piper Aztec landing off New Providence was due to dual loss of power due to fuel exhaustion. The 34-page report lists 3 factors that contributed to the incident: inadequate utilization of flight planning procedures, meteorological conditions at San Andreas Airport that include visibility that was apparently less than what was prescribed for visual flying, and decisions mainly utilized by the pilot in command that led to 3 unsuccessful attempts for landing at San Andreas over 12 minutes. Among them, the plane had a valid certificate of airworthiness and was registered in the United States. Additionally, the pilot possessed a private pilot certificate with single-engine and multi-engine ratings issued by the United States Federal Aviation Administration on February 2, 2009. However, the report noted the pilot was not instrument rated. He was also not certified to perform in weather conditions below what is prescribed for visual flying. Here's what happened in the final minutes before the incident. At 3:24 p.m., the pilot advised NASA Approach Control that he could not land at San Andreas Airport and that he would return to the Lynden Pindling International Airport. At 3:28 p.m., the pilot advised NASA Approach Control of engine problems. At 3:30 p.m., the pilot declared a full emergency with NASA Approach Control after observing loss of power to both engines. The passengers were informed of the emergency situation and the pilot in command ensured that all occupants donned their life vests. At 3:34 p.m., a nearby pilot monitoring the frequency asked the pilot of the doomed aircraft if he had feathered the prop. He responded, "It ain't shut off yet, it's still windmilling." The pilot ditched the aircraft in waters approximately 6.5 miles west of the approach end of runway 10 at LPIA. 6 people were pulled from the water. After assessments were made by search and rescue personnel, 87-year-old Alan Russell and 43-year-old Emma Williams died. Investigators also found there was no written procedure in place for low visibility operations in the Airport Authority procedures. It was added by the Airport Authority on September 13, 2024, a day after the occurrence. Reporting for Our News, I'm Bertha McDermott.
While a 47-year-old man convicted of having a sexual relationship with his daughter for 7 years is appealing his 27-year sentence. Now, we want our viewers to be aware that the details of this case that I'm about to read are very disturbing. The matter was adjourned to November 24th when the convict appeared before the Court of Appeal. According to the evidence presented at trial, the man began molesting his 13-year-old daughter soon after her mother, his wife, died in 2013. He introduced the child to porn and taught her to masturbate before he began sexually abusing her. The victim testified that she was so brainwashed that she believed her sexual relationship with her father was normal. Now, the abuse didn't stop until her younger sister made a complaint to the police. Her father is also awaiting trial for allegedly abusing his other daughter. Well, take a look at this video obtained by Our News that you should see shortly on our screen, showing something you don't see every day. There it is, water leaking from the ceiling of a Supreme Court. In the video, veteran attorney Jaram Mangra is seen standing in the middle of Justice Joanne Ferguson Pratt's courtroom using a cup to collect water leaking from the ceiling. Mangra described the moment as unbelievable, saying it underscores the daily challenges faced inside the judiciary, where even basic working conditions are compromised. compromised. He noted that Justice Ferguson has also been operating without regular staff to assist her, leaving attorneys and prosecutors waiting well past scheduled times to proceed with matters.
I'm actually in the middle of the court collecting water from the ceiling to make myself a cup of tea. If you didn't see this, you would never have believed it, would you? This is what Justice Ferguson has to work with.
Now our news reached out to Acting Registrar Ronaldo Toot, who confirmed officials are aware of the ceiling issue. He explained that preparations are already underway through the usual procurement process to hire a vendor for repairs. Toot also told Our News the same roof was repaired last year by a Ministry of Works vendor, but said it's now clear more extensive work is needed. He also admitted the building has had long-standing structural issues. Toot went on to say the judiciary looks forward to the construction of a proper purpose-built complex that will better serve the public and provide suitable facilities for justice. Well, a U.S. sheriff is claiming the Bahamas has relaxed its immigration enforcement, linking the country to human smuggling and drug trafficking routes into Florida. According to a local daily, the St. Lucie County Sheriff said U.S. authorities recently seized 168 kilos of cocaine and detained 30 undocumented Chinese nationals after intercepting 3 boats believed to have come from the Bahamas. He told American media the Bahamas is now being used as a launch point to the United States. While on the sidelines of a jet ski donation to the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, the question was put to National Security Minister Wayne Munro, who says immigration enforcement, particularly at sea, is a cooperative effort.
If that U.S. official is saying that you have illegal migrants coming by sea, that is a fact of people trying to migrate. The effectiveness of enforcement has to do with the effectiveness of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, the U.S. Coast Guard, U.S. Northern Command, and NORAD working together to secure not only the Bahamas, but the U.S. And so I would reject that because I know that the Royal Bahamas Defense Force is doing a yeoman's job. I know the U.S. Coast Guard is doing a yeoman's job, and I know the U.S. Northern Command and NORAD is doing a yeoman's job. But they not only help us protect our jurisdiction, but also in protecting their homeland.
On Thursday, former American football star Herschel Walker appeared before the U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee as he seeks confirmation to become Washington's top diplomat in Nassau, telling senators a growing drug smuggling issue in the Bahamas is one of the hopes he hopes to tackle, if appointed. Munro pointed to developments in South America as one factor behind the rise in cocaine trafficking through the region.
The government of Colombia, who used to destroy coca fields, took a policy decision to stop doing that. So in the past, they used to spray herbicides to destroy coca fields. They have stopped doing it. And so cocaine production has gone up in South America, so therefore the amount of it flowing north would increase. That's a problem not only for us, that's a problem for everyone.
All right, well, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force has received a new maritime security boost thanks to a donation from the private sector. An official handover ceremony was held this morning at the Harbor Patrol Unit in Nassau Harbor. The Cable Beach Resort Association and the Bahamar Foundation donating to 2025 Sea-Doo jet skis and a specialized trailer to strengthen patrols in Nassau Harbor and surrounding coastal areas. Royal Bahamas Defense Force Commodore Floyd Moxey shared that they are grateful for the donation and said they are aware of the growing concern regarding the safety of residents and guests who enjoy recreational activities on the water, while National Security Minister Wayne Munro also noted the challenges a small group of reckless craft operators continue to pose.
The Defense Force, working alongside our partner agencies, is committed to addressing these concerns. Already, the work of the Harbor Unit and the task force has yielded tremendous results. 55 vessels confiscated, 15 arrests made, and nearly 70,000 in citations collected.
For those who insist on breaking the rules, that is where enforcement comes in. And we thank the Royal Bahamas Police Force that's involved in this effort, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, and the Port Department in stepping up to hold persons responsible.
Bahamas Senior Vice President Robert Sandy San says the donation reflects the Foundation's ongoing partnership with the RBDF.
Our foundation is guided by 3 pillars: culture, community, and conservation. This donation reflects our commitment to investing in our people and the institutions we serve. These jet skis are being presented as tools to support the ongoing work of the Tourism Task Force.
All right, such a great effort. And as we could see in that video earlier, the rain is back on this TGIF Friday. Will we see clear weather this weekend? Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with the answer. Greg, what can you tell us?
Yeah, thanks, Natalia, and happy TGIF, everybody. Gray skies on the outside right now, some light rain. 87 degrees is our current temperature. Northeast winds at 5 miles per hour. Your field strike temperature is at 94. Satellite radar composite. Stalled out frontal boundary across South Florida and Northwest Bahamas with a lot of moisture in place, producing some cloudy conditions as well as some showers and some thunderstorms. This front is not going anywhere anytime soon, so the weekend you may want to keep that rain gear handy. Could see some showers and some thunderstorms in the forecast. High pressure remains in charge of the remainder of the Bahamas, and it looks as though we will carry this into early next week. That's a quick check on conditions around the islands. Stick with us. A look at your weekend forecast and the tropics still to come.
Still to come on our news, with just 3 months to go before the 2025 Junkanoo Parade, JCNP Chairman Dion Miller says talks with government are close to finalizing, plus building new business ties and trade routes. That's the goal for a Bahamian delegation heading to China this weekend. Our Joshua Williams has the story when our news returns. Stay with us.
In the Bahamas, island time is real. The history of Morris Lumber Company, established in 1945, is etched into the fabric of this proud island nation. It's a story that deserves to be celebrated in full color, and that's where we come in. Morris the Paint Place has been bringing color and vitality to homes and businesses across the Bahamas. Here, color is more than just a hue, it's a symbol of life. Together, we can paint a brighter future.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
It's me, Wednesday Addams. Your life just took a dark turn. I regret to inform you that I have devised the meal of misfortune with Wendy's. It's pure torture for your taste buds, with 4 nightmarish dips of dread. Don't waste my time asking which ones you'll get. You must surrender to your fate. Enjoy the anguish.
We're just over 3 months away from the 2025 Junkanoo season, and the JCNP Chairman Dion Miller says the JCNP and government will soon settle on an agreement for the upcoming parade. It comes following a tumultuous year for the Junkanoo community, who's been embroiled in drama for the past several months. Some Junkanooers point to the split within the Valley Boys Junkanoo group as what started the domino effect of issues. Miller says a recent meeting ended with the JCNP having to draft a proposal on the way forward.
The government's two main priorities is that, from the minister's aspect, he wants the JCMP to look at our rules as it pertains to disqualification. You have groups like the music makers stores who can't make the agreed eligibility, and so the ministers want us to look at that. And he stated that it affects by them disqualifying or not being able to meet the requirement, it may potentially affect their sponsorship viability, and so he wants us to look at that.
Meanwhile, the Attorney General is requesting a review of the rules requiring groups to exhibit their costumes. Still, Miller says the parade management group is in place. We asked him if the issues with Junkanoo will impact Junkanoo this year.
Unfortunately, it will impact Junkanoo, and this is why we have advised the government to get out of the business of Junkanoo. And get out of the internal business of Junkanoo, and so we feel that there will be some negative turn to it. We have seen negativity in Junkanoo for the past 2 years, ever since this Valley Boys issue has come up.
Exploring new opportunities to build business relationships and open new trade routes, that's the goal for a delegation heading to China this weekend. And as the world is monitoring international trade wars, how would a trip like this benefit Bahamian entrepreneurs? Our Joshua Williams has the story.
Looming global tariff wars have forced business owners in the Bahamas to get creative when it comes to trading. And now the Bahamas China Friendship Association is preparing to send 13 delegates on a mission to China. Their goal? Exploring new opportunities to build partnerships. The group will also bring innovative products back home they believe will strengthen the local economy. President Donovan Moxey says the mission reflects their commitment to strengthening the cultural bridge.
By connecting directly with manufacturers and distributors in Iwu, our entrepreneurs will be able to source products more efficiently, reduce costs, and explore opportunities for innovation in their local markets. In this way, the trade mission supports BCFA's objectives of fostering tangible economic benefits for our members and for the Bahamas at large.
The trip also made possible by a partnership with the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in the Bahamas. Its Chief of Economic and Commercial Affairs, Peng Jing, says his people are committed to helping lower the costs of living for Bahamians any way they can.
Against the backdrop of trade protectionism and the increasing politicization and the weaponization of tariff policies, both China and the Bahamas recognize that the great importance of trade diversification and direct trade in growing the economy and improving livelihoods.
It's not the first time the association has traveled to China. The group was founded back in 2004 with trips to China over the years. Joshua Wallace, who's a delegate and business owner, says it's important for them to broaden their horizon.
Well, for me, I'm looking, to establish direct relationships with these suppliers over there, so that I can pass on any cost savings that I have to my customers. So, having direct relationships with them, it's a win-win for both me and my customers and I.
Now, the United States has cautioned the Bahamian government on its relationship with China over the years, but the association says they won't be involved in any geopolitical activity. More on that in a later newscast. Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Coming up in sports, the latest on the BLTA drama off the tennis court. The WNBA regular season draws to a close and major plans ahead for boxing in the Bahamas.
Every week, one show drives the national conversation. On the Record, we challenge the issues, ask the tough questions, and dig deeper. We bring in the experts, the decision makers, and the voices that matter. Our discussions shape policy, influence change, and inform the public like no other. Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. and again on Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Catch us streaming live on Facebook or catch up with your favorite episodes on our YouTube channel. The conversations that shape the Bahamas start here, on the Record.
What do you get when you're searching for the whole truth?
Less than 24 hours after the body of 12-year-old was discovered on a track road on Faith Avenue, police say they...
You get the most comprehensive half hour of news.
Breach of the party's constitution.
Behind me is what remains of the Victoria Court Apartment Complex.
Our News at 7 brings you that truth in all of the day's top stories, sports, and our view of the world. Join me, Candino Knowles, weeknights for Our News at 7. Stay with the team you already trust.
From 2017, one show has set the standard for current affairs in the Bahamas, and that's On the Record, one of the longest running current affairs shows on RTV. We've been the place where newsmakers come to talk. We've sat down with leaders in government, cultural icons, industry leaders, and international experts. From breaking news to in-depth analysis, our conversation sets the tone for the nation. We've tackled the biggest issues on the planet, held world leaders accountable, and given voice to the people. From politics to culture, business to the environment, no topic is off limits. Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. and again on Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Catch us streaming live on Facebook or catch up with your favorite episodes on our YouTube channel. 9 seasons strong, and we're just getting started. This is On the Record.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark. Let's do show. Who moves forward to lead the country's governing body in tennis? This story has more sequels than the Fast and Furious franchise, and it'll add another chapter pretty soon, whether that's this weekend or in the near future. High drama surrounds the upcoming annual general meeting and elections of the Bahamas Lawn Tennis Association, with both the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture and the Bahamas Olympic Committee calling for a delay in the process. In a letter to BLTA President Perry Newton, the ministry referenced a July 22nd Court of Appeal ruling which invalidated the 2021 AGM and directed that membership applications be processed in keeping with the BLTA's constitution. The ministry emphasized that the membership process must remain transparent and inclusive, and advised that the BLTA postpone their elections until all outstanding issues are resolved to ensure fairness and good governance. Meanwhile, in an email to stakeholders, the BOC President Romel Knowles confirmed that the matter will be referred to the International Tennis Federation and that the BLTA will be flagged in dispute status until further guidance is provided. The BLTA elections are scheduled for September 13th, but questions now linger about the future of the association's governance and how soon a resolution can be reached.
That's it, the regular season is done, and now it's time to get to the title chase.
The Liberty ended the year with a 91-86 win over the Chicago Sky. JJ finished with 7 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, and 1 block. That block gave her 134 for her career, 6th all-time in Liberty history and 15th all-time in WNBA history. New York finished the season at 27 wins and 17 losses, and as the 5th seed would take on the 4th seeded Phoenix Mercury in round 1 of the playoffs. Game 1 is Sunday at 5 p.m. in Phoenix. Game 2 will be Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. in New York, and Game 3, if necessary, will be back in Phoenix Friday night.
Boxing was one of the first sports that put the Bahamas on the map internationally, but in recent years, a lot of young talent has slipped through the cracks. The Bahamas Boxing Academy project looks to change that. Stakeholders hosted the media yesterday to a comprehensive update on the development of the project, which is intended to become a national center for boxing. The latest addition to the Queen Elizabeth Sports Center, the project looks to revitalize a once thriving local boxing program. It's Friday, the last day before we celebrate the next 48 hours on the couch, just watching football and only moving for the bare necessities. It's just the way our forefathers intended. At 5, she does not like it when people in other uniforms score. Block number 134, 6th all-time in Liberty history, 15th all-time in WNBA history.
It's been a walk-off week for Bahamian prospects in the minor leagues. First up, Ian Lewis with a sac fly for B-Lot in High A.
At 3, walk-off week continues in AAA. Christian Robinson gets it done for the Reno Aces.
At number 2, Graham Knowles with his first career pass, first career completion, and first career touchdown for Georgia Tech. Shout out to Dean Patterson for being unreasonably fast.
And at 1, walk-off week continues. The future, well, actually the present, because Sebastian Walcott is balling right now. The hit streak is up to 9 games. The average this month, 382. $800 million, I swear. That'll do it for Our Sports. This is 10YS. You know, I was thinking, who was the first famous person you ever interviewed?
Pretty much any Bahamian high school basketball player since 2014.
Mine was Kaizen. Back to the studio.
Coming up on our news, wondering what your weekend weather will be like? Greg is back with your extended forecast when our news continues. Stay with us.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the Our News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
My name is Trevi Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed
This is our news. Welcome back. We still have the tropics, a bit on the quiet side right now. A couple of tropical waves moving across the tropical belt. One that we will continue to monitor. A strong one coming off of Africa as we speak. National Hurricane Center giving that a medium chance for formation over the next couple of days. It's not going to be moving too fast across the tropical Atlantic, so it's going to be out there for quite some time. Won't be until next week before we start seeing this approach some of the landmass out there. But the remainder of the tropics, quiet, couple of tropical waves over there. We also have one in the Western Caribbean that's moving near Panama and the northern coast of Colombia and Venezuela, bringing some showers down there as well. Closer to home, that frontal boundary still parked across the area, not going anywhere anytime soon, so you may want to keep the rain gear handy. Showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast throughout the rest of the weekend and into portions of early next week before we see a break, and then we see some of that moisture moving back up, so more showers will be in the forecast for the second half of next week. Taking a look at the future forecast, the moisture associated with that boundary is still hanging out across the northwest Bahamas, waning, so we're seeing some off and on showers and isolated thunderstorms, and that will, like I said, continue through Saturday and into Sunday, with most of the moisture staying out there at the open Atlantic. Boating forecast, northwest Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Your winds will be variable at 5 to 10 knots, seas running 1 to 3 feet. They will become occasionally northeasterly. High tide is at 12:20 tomorrow morning. Your low tide takes place at 6:32 in the morning. Central and southeastern islands, a southeast southerly flow at 10 knots. Seas will be running 2 to 3 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In your extended forecast, showers remain in the forecast for the next 2 days before we see a slight break on Monday and Tuesday. But as I mentioned, that front will back up towards our area, so we continue with the showers for the second half of next week. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night and have a great weekend, everybody.
All right, thanks so much for that, Greg, and thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great weekend.
Hi, and thank you for watching. I'm Natalia Hall. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to see more content from the team you already trust.